Morning, everyone. Welcome to today's training session where we're going to demonstrate the changes to AMS that will be going live on October 3rd. With me in Victoria, I have Donna Bozarth, Authorizations Manager, Krista Zenz, GIS Manager, Tim Malcolm, Program Manager, and Catherine Duner, Specialist Transformation Readiness. And in Fort St. John, we have Shelley Calder, Manager, Application Processing, Monica Nielsen, Application Process and Review Technician, and Vera Branson, Heritage Conservation Program Manager. Just some housekeeping items before we get started here. Any technical difficulties, please post your question in the chat or message Catherine Duner directly. And any questions, you can also feel free to post it in the chat or ask directly as well. We'll be pausing after each section as well. And I'm Tammy Pham, which I'll be going over the changes in the application for you today. All right, so just before we get started, in the meeting invite, Catherine sent out the application management system manual. To get this manual as well, if you didn't notice the link in your email, you can go directly to the BC OGC website and navigate to the industry zone and go to the application management system link. And by clicking on here, on the very left-hand side, there's a link here underneath the supporting document section. And it just is the Guide to AMS Changes October 3rd, 2017. And here it is in PDF format. So in today's session, we're going to be reviewing the changes and using the manual as a guiding tool. The three changes that are included in this next release includes changes to creating an amendment application, as well as the application overview section, and some simple changes to the archaeology section. So we'll be going over these three areas in the application today. So in the first change, when creating an application, new functionality has been implemented where users can now have the ability to add associated oil and gas activity or NEB related ancillaries, changes in about a stream, and or short-term water use points of diversion without having to select an existing permissioned activity. So we're just going to demonstrate this change and what that looks like. So here is the AMS system, and I've logged in. We're currently in the testing environment here. So to create an application specifically for an amendment, I'm going to click on the Create Application button. And in this specific scenario, I'm going to select Amendment. And I'm just going to grab an AD number. Copy that number there. So in this AD number that I've retrieved here to start my amendment, I have a well and I have multiple associated oil and gas activities. Previous to this change, in order to add another oil and gas activity or associated oil and gas activity, I needed to select the one activity and then proceeded next. The change here, I don't have to select any of these activities, existing permissioned activities, if I don't have to change them. So in this case, all I want to do is add new associated oil and gas activity, plus add some stream impact locations and some points of diversion. So any new activities you need to add to your amendment application, you just need to select the three on the right-hand side here. So in this scenario, I'm not going to touch any of my existing permission activities, and I'm only going to add the three new proposed activities to my permit. The next step just gives a quick summary. So here it just shows the three proposed new activities I selected and puts a quick statement there that I didn't select any permissioned activities. And then the third step is just reviewing the application summary of what I've selected and optionally inputting an application description. Again, it's optional, but it is advised to input some sort of application description to help facilitate the review process. And then accepting the application disclaimer and proceeding to next. So as you can see here, because I've selected new activities, the initial spatial package is required. So a rule of thumb here is if you do add new activities to your amendment, you do have to upload your spatial package before you can start your amendment. So as you can see here, all the tabs are disabled. I can't really do anything until I've uploaded my spatial package. So I'm going to indicate the shapefile projection and locate the shapefile that I'm going to upload. And in this case, my shapefile only includes the 3 activities that are required here. So you have your associated oil and gas activity, stream impact location points, and my points of diversion. Validate and save. So once the shapefile has been uploaded successfully, notice that all the tabs are enabled here for me, and I can click on the specific activities. So this is the first scenario in showing what one of the changes that we did for the next for this upcoming release. And if I navigate to the overview section here and click on application amendment summary, this provides a summary of what has been selected and what is included in the permit itself. So in this first section here, existing permissioned activity types lists out the activity types that were permitted in the AD number. So as we saw well and associated oil and gas activity listed. And the activity types on this amendment provides a summary of what activities were selected for the amendment application. So in this scenario, I selected associated oil and gas activity, changes in body stream, and short-term water use. And as you can see here, it shows the amendment type all as new. So I'm just going to return back to the dashboard and show another scenario for the amendment application. So I'm going to go back to create an application, select amendment. And in this scenario, what I'm going to show is modifying the existing permissioned activities plus adding new. So in this case, for this AD number, I have segment 1 for a pipeline and 3 associated oil and gas activities. I'm going to select both as the existing permission activities, and I want to add additional associated oil and gas activities plus stream impact locations and points of diversion. So I'm going to select on both sides here. And go to next. And the first section shows what I selected as my existing permissioned activities. So in this case, I'm going to select land and technical for my pipeline, as well as land for my associated oil and gas activity, and then just review the list of the proposed new activities selected here. Again, reviewing my selection for my amendment application so far, providing an application description. And accepting the application disclaimer. So in this scenario, because I added new activities, plus I added land, I'm prompted to upload a spatial package. So I'm going to locate my shapefile that I'd like to upload. And in this shapefile here, because I selected land amendment for my pipeline segment, as well as land amendment for my associated oil and gas activities, plus I'm adding new activities, my shapefile will have polygons for the pipeline right-of-way modification, a polygon to modify my associated oil and gas activity that I selected, as well as all of the shapefiles required for the new activities. And then the shapefile validated and saved, and I can click on any one of these guys to review. Now I'm just going to go back to the overview and demonstrate the application amendment summary again. And as you can see here, my existing permission activity types, it lists out the activities that were permitted with my AD number. So we saw we had pipeline segment 1 and associated oil and gas activities. And specific to the activity type selected for this amendment application, it's separated by each activity here. And as you can see, I selected this first guy and it shows the amendment type as land, which was what I selected. And then it shows as a summary the new ancillaries that I uploaded as well. Same thing goes for the stream impact locations. It shows my pipeline segment, the one that I selected, and the amendment type there, and then the point of diversion that I added as my new. Any questions so far? All right, so I'm just going to show one last example here for an amendment scenario. Yeah. So in this case, I'm just going to, I just want to amend my pipeline segment. I don't want to add any new activities at all. So in this case, I'm just going to select my pipeline segment 1 and not select any proposed new activities here. And just select technical here. Review what I selected for amendment application. And accept the application disclaimer. And as you can see here, because I selected technical only, I did not add any new activities and I didn't select land amendment. The initial spatial upload is not required. And if I navigate to the pipeline area, I can amend the details as required. And if I just navigate back to the overview and go to the application amendment summary here, again, it shows the existing permission activity types as well as the activity types on this amendment, and it shows the segment that I selected and the amendment type there as technical. So this first change for creating an amendment application, that's the new functionality that we went over where you don't have to select an existing permissioned activity in order to add any of these 3 new activities to your permit. And we saw the 3 scenarios where you can select just the new activities to add, the second scenario where you can select existing permissioned activities to amend plus add new, and then the third scenario where you're just selecting the existing permission activities and not adding new. And then the second change for this release was the application amendment summary. And this is where we saw the summary in the overview that describes what was included as part of the permit and then what was selected for the amendment application. So we went over the 2 changes there. And then the third change is increasing the text box limits for these specific text boxes in the archaeology section. So the administrative change brief description has now been increased to a 2,000 character limit. The other types of assessment has been increased to a 500 character limit, site mitigation description up to 4,000 character limit, and specify factors used to assess potential as well as sources to identify archaeological potential have been both increased to a 2,000 character limit. So I'm just going to flip to an application that has archaeology. And you can tell where this changes by just the text counter there. So any of the text boxes listed in the manual, and when you're in the archaeology section, you can see the text size increase there. So in the manual sent out as well, it provides a training aid for all of the scenarios we went over this morning, as well as where to navigate in the system to locate the changes. Other than that, I think those are all the changes that is listed for this upcoming release, and now we'll open the floor for any questions. All right, that was easy peasy. So if nobody has any questions, I think that's our session for today. If you need anything else, please feel free to reach out to Catherine. Otherwise, thank you for coming, and enjoy the rest of your day.